Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Another quick viewer's question for you today. So this is just going to be a quick tutorial because the answer to this is very simple. There's only one thing that you can do, but this was a question that came on a particularly old video, say it's from a while back, on how to blur an image with CSS. So you can't really see the image too well on the video, but I'll show you a better example in just a moment. And this question, if we scroll down, is all about the blur function and how you can use it to fix the corners. So what I think Bengal Scholarship meant about this is that when you sort of use the CSS blur filter, it does kind of tend to give you a little bit of white space or a little bit of bleed from the background around the edges, which kind of doesn't look that great. So just to give you a better example of that, in our recent project where we did JavaScript form validation, we had a background image which was blurred with the CSS blur filter, and you can kind of see it here. There's like a little bit of a white edge around it because obviously the body behind it is white. So when you're doing this blur, it kind of affects the whole image, but you do get this little bit of bleed at the edges. And if I just increase the blur amount to 20 pixels, you should see that gets even worse, and you sort of start getting this distortion on the edges. So I'm thinking that's what Bengal Scholarship means. And also apologies, that was 2 weeks ago you asked me this question and I haven't got around to answering it, but here we go. Hopefully this live stream makes up for you. So one thing I'll just do just on this markup that we've got here is just remove, just commentate, actually it's just get rid of the whole lot, oops, of this overlay on the top of it there, so you can see the background image a bit better and you can see this problem that we've got. So really quickly, I think the best solution for you in this example is to actually just make the background image a little bit bigger, and hopefully what that should do is then just push out those edges off the screen. So if you were doing this in a container, you'd need to make sure that you've got your overflow hidden, etc. But for our example here, if you want the edges to kind of disappear and to just get that nice blurred image, all we do is just apply a transform and set this scale to 1.1, for example, and you should see that that sort of pushes out the blurred edges off the screen, and we've got a nice blurred image on the background with no bleeding edges on the end of it. So that might not be a practical solution in all cases, but because we're only scaling by a tiny amount, a slight amount, then hopefully that should solve the problem where you're getting this bleeding at the edges. And of course, the more pronounced the effect is, so say for whatever reason you've got a blur of 50 pixels on there, you can see the problem starts to come back. So you might need to adjust that and just scale it out a little bit more. If you have got a large CSS blur filter on there, just to kind of make sure that the edges are pushed as far out as you can. So hopefully for Bengal Scholarship that has answered your question, and if you have your own question, feel free to drop it on the live stream here or just any of the videos that you kind of come across, and I'll do my best to answer them. But that's it for today. Hope you found that useful, and I'll see you next time.